Express. Now this video follows on from our previous video, which was suggested by Candice, and the topic is couples, relationships and marriage. Our key tips on having a good marriage. So if you did not check out our previous video, because this follows on from that was how we met, click on the link over there. And before we get into this video, if you have not, please subscribe to our channel. We bring you all kinds of different interesting topics, ballet, life, relationships. Please subscribe.
And we're almost on every single platform.
Yes.
So links are right down below: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, everything.
So please do that right now.
Roll the intro. So, how we got engaged? Well, this was a very interesting time.
Yes, it was a very difficult time in my life. My father had just passed away 6 months after my mother had passed away. So it was extremely traumatic. James was working in South Korea because he had taken up his contract with Universal Ballet, and I was actually due to join him in like a couple of months or so.
So what happened was, I heard all of this happened to Jessica.
I immediately phoned him,
Yeah, of course it was heartbreaking, and it was such a traumatic event that I took leave of work immediately, flew to another country because I was in South Korea. I flew all the way to South Africa and set up a way to propose to Jessica.
Yes, and now just to let you know how special this was, because James had only taken 5 days off. South Korea is very far away from South Africa and the tickets are not cheap. So he really sacrificed a lot to get there just for 5 days. And he made it seem like he was coming for the funeral, which of course he was, but I did not know it was for another reason.
So there was the funeral, and it was 2 days after, correct?
Yeah,
it was.
that you proposed.
Yeah. And it was a sad time and a joyous time at the same time. Because of the funeral, it was super sad, but to keep Jessica from doing anything out of hand.
Yes, this was a very tough time for me. If you want to know, if you would like me to open up a little more about this, please comment below and I can do that for you guys.
I proposed to her, and how I did this was I actually booked out a whole restaurant just for us.
Where was this restaurant?
It's called Clicker. It's an exclusive boutique hotel, and the food was amazing. We had all the different courses, and I obviously chose all the different wines to go with it.
Yes, he specifically coordinated with the chef on meals that I really like. He coordinated every single course and paired a wine with each course.
Because Jessica is very, very fussy with food.
Very fussy. So how this worked is I don't know why, but I just suspected that James was going to do something. I have no reason why I thought of this, but I had planned an outfit. I had this new leather jacket that I put on the bed. James just told me to pack a bag. We were going somewhere. He was going to take me just to have a night away. And as I got out the shower, I came to my brand new leather jacket, which my cat had just thrown up all over it. So I was quite upset, had to find another outfit. And anyway, did that. Off we went to this beautiful venue, and I noticed there was nobody around, and we were brought to our table, which was next to this fireplace. It was so romantic, and I noticed he was quite nervous. So we sat down, got our first wine, and he stood up, he's like, "Let me pour you some wine." And he poured some wine. Here's a serviette. We call it serviettes. Maybe if you're in America, you call it napkins. And he got me that, and I saw in his pocket there was a very big square thing that looked like a box.
A ring box. Of course I had to blow it. But I couldn't like hide it under the table or something, you know.
So anyway, we hadn't even got to dessert yet. And I'm not so much of a wine drinker, so James was drinking his wine as well as my wine. I think he was getting a little bit tipsy.
I was a little bit tipsy.
But nothing too bad.
Yeah.
So he got up and he came next to the fireplace and he said he wanted to ask me something. And he looked at me and he said, okay, so I'm not going to go down on one knee, I'm going to go down on two knees. And he did that, and he told me how much he loved me, and without me in his life, he felt that he would be taking drugs in a gutter somewhere. He felt that I was this light in his life that has brought him to where he is today and made him the person he is. And that really touched me so much. And then he opened this box and said, Jessica Jean Overton, which I hated when he
Jean's her middle name, if you didn't know.
He referred to it like that.
Jean.
And he said, will you marry me? And I was all shaking and all excited, and I didn't even have to think about it. I said, yes! And this is my lovely engagement ring. Aren't I lucky? And which we actually picked this out a couple of years ago. We're just walking past.
We picked it out a couple of years before I even proposed.
Yes.
Because we were just walking past shops, and I was like, oh, let's go look at rings. And so we looked at rings, and we saw a whole bunch of diamond rings and a whole bunch of other types of rings, and you know, diamonds for us felt so generic. And then Jessica was like, oh, I really like this, the colour's really nice, everything's nice.
Let's bring it nice and closer.
It's called Tanzanite. It's a soft gem. It is quite rare because there's a finite amount of them, and they cannot be remade like diamonds can.
Before we end this video, I have to tell you another story relating to that. So it was a Valentine's Day, and I knew that the ring store where you get these rings, they give you teddy bears when you buy jewelry there. So Valentine's Day came and he brought me this bag which had this teddy bear in it, which you can see, it's the ring store where we got it, Browns. And I was like, oh my goodness, he's gonna propose to me, where's this ring? And there was no ring.
Yeah.
My mom and my dad were expecting him to propose to me because I was very blessed that he got to ask both my parents for permission to marry me, and they both were really happy that he would do that, and they would love to have him as my husband one day. So got Lucy and no ring, but then it all made sense a couple months later actually.
Like 2 years.
Yeah, actually 2 years. It just seems like
months, because you went through quite an ordeal.
Yeah. So that is.
I just could never find the right time, and then.
Apparently, you brought the ring with you when we went to competitions in Russia.
In everywhere.
Because that's what my mom told me. She said she was expecting him to propose to me in Russia. I was not even aware of it. So you were taking this beautiful ring with you all over the world.
All over the world, and I never proposed until I had the time that I could, and that, like I said. Like you said, like you saved me in a way, and so I took it upon myself to save you as well.
Thank you.
We both saved each other.
Oh, yeah, so James means a lot to me. He really does mean a lot to me. We've had our ups and downs. We can talk about this a bit later. I mean, our relationship hasn't been completely perfect all the time.
Not all cotton candy, fairy floss.
No, and I think every relationship is like that. But I'm so grateful that he proposed to me that day, because it was 2 days before my dad's funeral, and it, as you can imagine, it was not an easy time at all. But it was so wonderful to have that kind of light in the mood, and I know my dad would be so happy. So it actually worked out really perfectly, and then landed up joining him. That was in April, and I joined him in South Korea in July, so it worked out perfectly. And then we lived together for, that's another topic.
Yeah, so our next topic is going to be what?
Our wedding. So if you want to see that, tune in and you will learn a little bit about our wedding. We do have a couple of videos how we planned the wedding. I have wanted to do a lot more videos on that, which eventually we'll get to doing, but we thought the next video might be interesting as to where we got married, a little bit about it. So please stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave any comments below if you have any questions.
And like the video too.
Yes, very important.
Liked it a lot.
Lots and lots and lots.
And we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.